Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're listening to the podcast Capturing Magic. I'm Bill Rogers, the voice of Disney. Thanks very much for listening.
Hey everyone, welcome to Capturing Magic. I'm Steph Clay, and I'm here today with Heather Winfield, who can be found at heatherw.com/character and at heatherw25 on social media. Hi, Heather.
Hi. And
we also have Tanya Hickman from Every Magic Moment. Why am I having problems? everymagicmoment.com and Tanya H666 on social media. Hi, yes. Tanya.
The problem is you distract yourself by laughing in the middle of it, and it makes it even worse.
I distract myself by I can't think straight, and so laughing is to fill time while I get my brain going and catching up with my mouth, because that's usually the problem. Is my brain's a little bit behind my mouth. So, okay, today we are talking about Happily Ever After, the new fireworks show at Magic Kingdom. Heather and I were both able to see it on recent trips, and it's really great. I know a lot of people were, was that not the right adjective?
It's
really?
Great.
Yeah.
Great. It's kind of like, it's Heather's pretty. It's really pretty. It's really pretty. I know a lot of people were sad to see Wishes go. And Wishes, it has a special place probably for everybody that's been to Disney World in their family's story and in their memories. And so it's been around a really long time. It was sad to see it go, but I have to say I love Happily Ever After. What do you think, Heather?
Yeah, I was actually fine with it going. I was kind of like, okay, it's been around a long time. How many new fireworks shows Disneyland has had in the time that Disney World has had Wishes. So even though it was great and everything, I was kind of not going to see it all the time. So I was really happy when they announced they were going to have a new show. Even though, you never know, I was kind of worried if it would be too much with the projections and not enough fireworks like the one at Studios.
Yeah.
But no, there's still a ton of fireworks, and it's beautiful. I mean, I didn't use the word pretty. It's beautiful. But it's also very, it's still emotional because it's just...
Yeah, I totally cried.
It's not just it's pretty to see. It's it's so well done, and everything about it is great. I loved it.
Yeah, it pulls at your heartstrings for sure. I totally cried. It is because the projections are incredible with the detail, so beautiful, and I do really love how they've incorporated lots of fireworks, because that was one thing I was disappointed with the show at this Studios compared to the Star Wars Day fireworks show. It was a huge letdown and disappointment for me, because that fireworks show during Star Wars Days is so fire filled. I mean, it's so much.
Even the one they had, after the Star Wars weekend, they had a Star Wars fireworks show, and it was fantastic. And you could see it anywhere in the park. And then they changed to this one, and they changed where they let the fireworks off from. So all of it's on the side, and there's not that many of them. So you pretty much have to be in one spot to see it. Otherwise, you're really not seeing anything.
Yes.
So that was such a huge disappointment, because it, like you said, it went from so great to it's okay. So that was the only thing I was really worried about this, was that it would be more of the projections and not enough of everything else.
Yeah.
But so thankfully those fears did not come true.
Yes, good. I agree. It's a beautiful show with a wonderful message, and my kids loved it too. They really loved it a lot. So I
saw it on it was the third or fourth day after it started. And so most people I think hadn't seen it yet. I mean, I'm sure it's still going to be like that for a while, but it was I was next to this guy, and he was just freaking out over every new character. Oh my goodness, it's oh my god, it was so cute. That. I love that even more than the show at some point, because his reaction was the best.
For sure.
But because they have so many, like, they have several, like, more unusual ones than they normally would have in these kind of things. Like, they have a whole thing with Hunchback with Quasimodo, like,
Love that
going
part.
up the, so cool. I mean, so I love when they do that. It's not just, okay, the same, like, you know, 5 characters or whatever that they use.
Elsa and Anna over and over.
The Hunchback part, and then the Brave part too with Merida.
Yes.
Is really good too.
Even, you know, you mentioned Frozen, and we all know how I am about with Frozen and all these things, but even how they used that in this, I liked it. It wasn't the same. It was like a different version of For the First Time in Forever. That's the one they used, I think. And so it was like, it was completely different, and it was like a slower, like, I don't know, but it was, I even liked how they incorporated that. It wasn't just like, oh, we're sticking Let It Go, here you go. It's also
It's like there's so many songs in that movie. Spread it out a little.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Like, I didn't roll my eyes when they did that. Like, you know, it's like...
You only rolled one eye?
Just a sigh. No eye rolling.
Yeah. And it had, like, Hercules, which I love. It's anniversary today. And they have, like, that in it.
Yes.
And they have... and, like, Moana, which I know is, like, new, so it shouldn't be as much of a surprise, but still, it's nice because it's not, you know, I guess maybe as big as the other, like, ones, but so they have like a whole thing with Moana, and the really cool, they have like her, like the spiral, you know, symbol, like they have fireworks of that, like during her thing. So they have a lot of, that was another thing with Wishes, as it was going on, they took away a lot of the shape, you know, fireworks as it went on. And so, but this one has like a whole ton of them. So that was really cool too.
Yeah. It's an incredible, incredible show. So let's give people some suggestions on where and when, how early, because I looked to you when we were there for my advice on that, and then I ended up doing something totally different. So.
You're just like, whatever, I'm not listening to you.
So, I mean, and I've read a lot of different sites and heard from a lot of different people that you do want to be close up. And that even a cast member told me that you want to be close up.
Yeah, because again, there's so much going on. It's not even just on the castle. Like, they have stuff going on the turrets.
Yes.
They have lasers. And they have everything. So, like, normally my favorite place to watch fireworks isn't in front of the castle. So, but for this one, I'm like, I have to, even just to start off with, to see it. And maybe as it goes along, I'm going to go back to my other spot, because there still is a lot of fireworks. So I know I can still see it from back there. But I mean, I saw it twice, and both times I got stuck behind people putting their kids on their shoulders.
That's
so I couldn't, like, the first time, like I said, I was like the 4th day or so that it started. It was, like with Pandora, I was being unspoiled for it, so I didn't see anything about it. I went there the first night I could. I got there, I want to say it was like an hour and a half, maybe more. I don't remember exactly, because we got to the park early, but we didn't go to get a spot for a bit. We just kind of like sat down and waited, because there were already people like camped out. That's, you know, the thing. I think we might have mentioned it on another show. Like, since there's no night parade, people just all camp out for the fireworks. So like the hub is kind of a mess.
I can't believe how early people were starting to camp out for spots, like after the 3:00 parade.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's what happens when you have nothing else to get people off the street, I guess. But I waited, and I decided to sit in like the hub. So it was like just where the hub area, like where the partner statue is, but like in that hub area, like right towards the end. I thought, like, this is good. I'm like not too close, but I'm still close enough that I could see, because I was more about the projections, because like with anything, if you get too close up, you don't really see all the fireworks. But with this thing, I think, you know, the projections are such a big thing, you want to like see that. And I kind of liked where my spot was, and like I said, I was sitting there for all this time, and then of course they, you know, they're like, stand up and move, because they want to push everybody in there. So it's always a thing with like, you're waiting there for hours, and then like they want to make sure people who walk up like 10 minutes before, you know. So I ended up moving a lot closer to the partner statue than I wanted. And then, of course, like I said, the kids on the shoulders, the phones up in the air. So, like, when I was standing, I was trying to see. I sometimes kind of saw, but I didn't really get to see as much as I wanted to. And so the second time I was like, I'm going to stand. I wanted to stand kind of around where Casey's is. And then I'd be like, okay, that would be a good spot. But I got there later, so I stood a little bit farther down Main Street than I wanted. But I still thought it was okay because I was stood right behind where a crosswalk is. Uh-huh. So I had space. I'm like, this is good. So, like, if someone, but no, like 2 seconds before the show started, like directly in my sight line, they put the kid on the shoulder. And so I ended up moving up to like the next spot in front of me because there's an empty spot. So I stood there. So, but the shoulder kids are like staggered throughout the place. And now that you're like, when you're closer together, like you don't have as much room to kind of maneuver around the sea. So I still have to experiment. I have a couple other places I want to try to see it where I can actually see the castle. And like the whole time, not just like, a couple times like, oh, I have a spot. I can sort of see it. So I want to try to do that. And if not, I'm just be like, whatever, I'll go watch it from New Fantasyland and just care about the fireworks. But there's just so much going on. Like, I really want to be able to see. Like, I couldn't even see the torts in either spot, even when I was close up, because it was like so packed in with people and I couldn't really see around. So hopefully one of these other times I'll get a better spot, or thinking about what Steph did, I might do that. We'll see.
Steph did the cheaters version, I am being lazy and don't want to wait. So I had done a little bit of research about the dessert party before we left and decided not to book it. There were openings available. And then as we started, we were able to get a Be Our Guest reservation at 6, and then we had our mine train reservation, and I was like, when are we going to get a spot for the show? And I knew that I needed to get there early based on what we had talked about, and I wanted to be able to have a decent spot to view it. And it's hard to find a spot where either there's not a tree or a light post or a kid in your way. And so I just decided I decided, okay, I'm going to look into the dessert party again, and it was all full. And then the day of, that morning of, I thought I'm just going to look one last time. I looked and there was availability for 5 people, so I booked it. And that was my splurge for this trip. I usually every trip have one surprise kind of splurge thing that I do for my kids, for my family. And so this was that splurge thing. And I'm really glad that I did it. It's not cheap, and it was super, and this is the thing, okay, I've complained about it before. This is the thing that I don't like about FastPass Plus. Because we had Mine Train FastPass tickets for like 7 to 8, I think, something like that. And the fireworks were starting at 8. Does that sound right, Heather?
Maybe.
Or is it 9?
It might be 9.
Okay, so we had the fast pass tickets for like 7:30 to 8:30 or 8 to 9, something like that. Something close where it was going to make it difficult to fit everything in. And then I was able to get Be Our Guest, which is the one restaurant that everybody in my family loves and is a must-do. And so I was able to finally get an earlier reservation. We had a 9 o'clock reservation at night. Like, who wants to eat dinner at 9 at night?
Hate eating that. I'm gonna eat at like 4 p.m. person.
Me too. Especially when I'm in Florida. My body's totally off when I'm in Florida. But yeah. So we were able to get that moved to a little bit earlier. But then we have all of these things back to back to back. And I'm like, dang. We're barely going to have enough time to eat dessert. So I have to look at this at the dessert party. So I'm like, I have to look at this more of I'm paying to get priority seating for the show.
Yeah.
And we we did dinner at Be Our Guest, and I told our waitress that we had the dessert party, and I just went and told her, like, away from the kids. And I said, hey, we have this dessert party for the fireworks show. The kids don't know about it, so just don't offer anyone dessert. And as soon as we're done eating, give us our check, and then we'll head out. And she was great about it, super nice, and got us our check quick. So, but the bad thing is that it made that meal a little bit more rushed than what we would want. And we told the kids that we were rushing because we had fast passes for Mine Train, which was absolutely true. But then we had this other thing too, that they didn't know about. And then we ran and rode the Mine Train, and it was tight. And then we went over, and we were supposed to check in for the dessert party, like at 6:45, I think. Really early, a lot earlier than when the fireworks start, like an hour and a half earlier than when the fireworks start. And we didn't, because we had dinner and we had the fast passes for the Mine Train. So we got there about 45 minutes before the fireworks started, and that worked out okay. We were able to go in and each of us get a plate full of desserts, and we ate them, but there again, we were rushed. And the desserts, super yummy. They have a whole big variety of things to choose from, tons of macaroons, so that made me happy. Yes. And then they also had cheeses, which made my girls really happy, and then fruit and just lots of really good stuff. What I wish I would have done is and then they escort you. So there's 2 different levels of the dessert party that you can do. You can do the Tomorrowland Terrace, and then you can also do the garden one, the garden view one, which is what we did. So there's seated patio viewing and then standing garden viewing. And we did the standing garden viewing because it's like $20 per person less. We'll stand, that's fine. But everyone meets at the beginning in the Tomorrowland Terrace eating area. The people that have the seated, the terrace seated viewing are sent to the lower level, and they're put at tables there where they will stay to view the fireworks. And then those of us that are doing the garden viewing, we're up a little bit higher where you would never be able to see the fireworks from at all. And then they'll escort people in groups over to the garden viewing area where you can claim a spot on the grass. And when we got over there, I saw a lot of people with to-go boxes filled with desserts.
Oh.
And I was like, why didn't I think to ask? Because usually they won't let you take a to-go box when it's like an all-you-can-eat dessert buffet. Hello.
Yeah, they don't usually do that.
No, but they did let a few people. And so I should have, I guess, thought to ask that, especially where we had those other fast passes and dining reservations and stuff. I'm sure they would have worked with us. They're usually good about that kind of stuff. So I wish I would have done that, because we could have had more desserts. My husband did end up, once we got our seat staked out, he did end up going back and getting a whole bunch of desserts and then, in his hands and bringing them to us. Drink-wise, they had lots of different juices and water. The only sugar-free option was water, which is a bummer for me because I can't do all the sugar juices and all of that other stuff. I get sick. And I don't love water. It's not my favorite. I know that.
Ugh, water.
I know, right? Put some diet soda out there.
Right? I mean, I add lemon and cucumber, and I'm still just it's still water. It's still just water.
I totally agree. So, yeah, it was great. Really good. More desserts than we could ever possibly eat. Lots of different options. Really good. Yummy stuff. So the fireworks, the garden viewing, it's $60 for adults. Everyone 10 and older is considered an adult. And then the seating in the terrace is $79 per adult for those seats. And I have to say that I was super happy with our viewing area. We weren't blocked by anybody. Everybody in there was very considerate and made sure that they weren't standing in front of you and not blocking your view if they were standing in front of you. There was a lot of room to move around, and we had several options. We got in there. We were one of the very last families to get in there, and we had a lot of different options of where our family of 5 could sit, because everyone was sitting, and then some people stood once it started, and some people just stayed sitting on the grass. So yeah, it worked out great. I'm really glad that we did it. And my family was all really glad that we did it. And then even a bonus was that once the fireworks were over, then they have that other projection show afterwards.
Yeah.
So we just stayed right there. They opened it up so other people could come in, but hardly anyone came in, but we just were able to stay right there for that. And then the crowds cleared, and we could just stay right there while everyone was moving around that little fenced in area. It was awesome. We didn't have anybody pushing us, nobody shoving us, nobody in my space. It was great. And then once it cleared out, we headed over and rode some more rides. So it worked out perfect for us. The kids loved it. My husband loved it, and everybody was happy.
I always feel like these dessert parties and stuff are always worth it when it's a new show and it's the first time you're seeing it.
I agree.
Like, I mean, I know it's a lot of money, but you're only going to have to do it once.
That's my thinking on it too. It's not something you're not going to do it every single time. It is a treat. It's a splurge. And like I said, we usually do one fun, exciting new thing every trip, and that was the thing that we did.
Yeah, I mean, you eliminate one sit-down meal, and it pays for the dessert party.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same price practically.
Yep, totally.
And I think, like, where you would see it from is better than from the terrace.
Yeah, a lot of people...
Because
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, because that's why I got confused when we were before the show, and we were saying about the 2 prices, and I thought there was only the one, because I thought, like, I didn't realize they still had that one, because I thought that would be a bad view. Like, you can't really see the castle that well from there. Like, I mean, projection-wise.
I agree with you, because, and I'll put this map. I took a screenshot of the map to show Heather after it was all done, to show her where we were and to show her some pictures that we got from our viewing spot. And so I can include those in the show post as well, so people can kind of get an idea of where we were. The Tomorrowland Terrace, you're in the seating area and you're looking out over the water at a definite angle to the castle. And you're kind of even behind one of the spires that's out front, the new spires that they included in the projections. And then the grassy area that we sat in is just to the left of the grassy area, right off of the Partners statue, and then between the Partners statue and Tomorrowland Terrace, I guess I'll say. And it's all fenced off. And they did a really good job of not letting anybody in unless you had a wristband. Right when we checked in, we were given a wristband, and there were people that were trying to get in because they thought that with their fast pass and they were like, we need to see your wristband. And so they would hold up their magic band. They're like, see? And they're like, no, this is different. And they did a good, I mean, there were pushy people that were insistent that they thought that that's where they needed to be. And they did a really good job of not letting them in, which I appreciated, because I paid a lot of money to be in there. And that would be a bummer to have pushy people get in. So I loved not having pushy people around me. That alone.
Fireworks shows bring out the nasty in people.
It does.
It is awful.
Yeah, and especially when it's new like that, and it's, like you said, Tanya, it's the first time that a lot of people are going to be seeing it, and it does bring out the nasty. So for me, that was worth the money to not have to deal with that. And the photos that we got were pretty incredible too, don't you think, Heather?
Yeah.
That I sent you?
Yeah, that's why I'm debating, because it'll be my mom's first time seeing it, and that's like that's the main thing, that in Pandora, that she wants to see this trip. So I don't know. We're thinking about it. The only other reason I haven't gotten it is because it's Florida, and it's like, I'm not sure what if it rains, and then we're out of luck. So I'm just kind of waiting to see, maybe that, because you said did you say you got it that day? Or
I did get it that day, but I checked the day before and it was booked. But somebody told me, and I swear it was you, I swear it was you that said, because I was like, because it was raining every single day, and I said, hopefully they don't cancel the fireworks show, and you're like, well, in all the years that I've been going, they've only canceled it once.
Yeah, no, they don't cancel it, but I mean, if it's raining and they still have it, and then like, like maybe you don't want to be sitting there when it's raining, or you do it like a different day. Like I actually had a friend who got the dessert thing, and then it was like a pouring thunder awful storm, and so they pushed the fireworks back like in 2 hours or something, and then the park was empty, so he didn't even go watch it from there. He was able to watch it from wherever he wanted because the park was so empty. It was so that was, so, I mean that's good. Like you were talking about that with Pandora because it rained and so like it was empty. Yes. But it's a whole thing. So I'm kind of waiting to see. Well, I'll leave it up to my mom maybe. But like, do you want to do it or? I just want to make sure like see it and. Because it's really cool from what I see. I still keep wanting to watch it too on like a good video of it so I can see everything that I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think that here's another thing for you because I've done this before with parties where we had tickets for a party and it was raining. And so I went to see if we could trade them for another night and they let me do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. You can always ask to trade them for another night.
Yeah. Unless you're on a super tight schedule and you won't be able to fit it in another night, which is usually how I roll at Disney World.
That's how Heather used to roll, and then all of a sudden she's like all lax about everything.
Funny. Okay, I think, do we have anything else to say or are we good? On Happily Ever After.
It's really good.
It's really, really good, and you can't miss it. That would be my advice. Yeah. No matter what, you can't miss it.
Like, if you're sad about wishes or whatever, just like, it's okay. Just watch this. Yeah. It'll be fine.
I was sad about wishes, but I knew Disney would. I was hoping. I was a little nervous after seeing the Star Wars one, like I said, but they did a good job. They took care of me.
And the music's really good.
Yes, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, let's remind our listeners where to find us, Tanya.
You can find me at everymagicmoment.com and TanyaH666 on all social media.
Heather.
My character site is heatherw.com/character, and on social media, I'm heatherw25, and on Facebook, it's I Love Characters.
And you can also find us at Capturing Magic _ on Instagram, and we're on Facebook as well. And you can find me also at modernphotosolutions.com. I've got a great free Google Photos class. If you're suffering from photo overwhelm, get over there and take that class. Okay, have a great day, and we will see you next time on Capturing Magic.